Yo, this is Ace Banton in SAT building, baby. You're watching SAT Telecom, that's the number one choice. Boom!
Whenever the iron play, I'll be there. Wherever the steel band play, I'll be there. Anytime it's carnival, yo, festival, bacchanal, behind the big truck, down the road, everybody, they know that I'll be there. Yo, this is Mr. Challenge, you're watching SAT TV, the people's choice.
Good evening, welcome to SAT TV News. I am Shanna Esprit, your presenter for the evening. Among the major developments, SAT Telecom signs agreement with Echo for music rights, Bahamas PM comes out against gay marriage, Cardinals select a new pope, and in sports, Jamaican Prime Minister supports Wycliffe Cameron's bid for WICB's presidency. Details of these and other stories after the break.
SAT Telecoms. And I'm my tutuni. Big up, one love.
It's only when we unite as one, then a lot more thing can be done. Stop this useless fight down, killing out your own brother man. Time we rise and all realize we have an enemy in disguise, standing right in the mix of you. Got to know who is who. This is Derek Peters and you're watching SAT TV. That's what I have, SAT TV. SAT TV, that's the way to go. Rah! To the world. Ooh diddy, ooh diddy, ooh diddy.
Welcome back. Mr. Francis Joseph, a social worker, has voiced concerns of the illegal adoption that is transpiring in the Carib territory. Mr. Joseph said the issue of illegal adoption arose after a one-day workshop where concerns of the Kalinago people were raised and addressed.
The issue of illegal adoption came out as one of those issues and a concern to them. So that's how I first got to be aware and alerted about the situation. It appears that people were just coming into the territory and asking for children who live with vulnerable parents and poor families, and that these parents or these people in Guadeloupe, Martinique, maybe one or two friends, would want children who they don't have themselves, I suspect, in those countries, and they would want to do some level of adoption or having to take their kids to care for them in Guadeloupe as theirs.
He said through the program, the Kalinagos were reminded of the formal way to do adoptions. Mr. Joseph highlighted the Welfare Division has been continuing to curb the number of illegal adoptions taking place.
What concerned us was the issue where people were just being given to families and mothers or fathers who came down here and they took the kids away. One person made a plea that they would like to have their child back, a very young girl then, who indicated that when she realized as a parent she had rights to her kids and so on. So I pursued the case and we started to do that kind of search and hunt to find out what's happening. That took me to Martinique, that took me to meeting the social services people over there, and they began to look into the case and so on. We got to know where the person was staying and what was happening, and to our surprise, the child wasn't even registered as someone being in the country because of the nature of how they are taken to a certain extent.
Due to illegal adoptions, many children are not established in the system after migration. Mr. Francis is concerned that when the children get to adult age in the French countries, they do not get job opportunities for lack of legal documents. He believes other social issues affect the children after they are taken from their parents and brought to the French countries.
Some young girls, women were sent back to Dominica unceremoniously, and it became a shock to us as well. There are a couple of cases that we know of. There's a couple, some of them that's been alleged were even indecently assaulted and so on while in Martinique. We do not have all of the statistics, and we do not have a true picture as to what the circumstances are, but we know that there are cases that have gone on, and we do not know the extent of it, and so on. Some of them have come back here just speaking French. Fortunately, within less than no time, they mix up with their family and the community, and they were able to re-establish themselves and so on. So there's a story out there.
Ongoing inquiries have occurred, and a consultant was sent to the French islands to see what the statuses with the illegal adopted children were. Mr. Joseph said that poverty is one of the reasons for the illegal adoption taking place in the Carib territory. The interests of the children, and mainly the young women, should be of concern. He hopes that it does not lead to a level of human trafficking, which could become an even bigger concern.
As I said, I think people need to be aware of what's happening, and in the event this has happened, I don't think you should stay on your own and accept if someone or a stranger comes into your just say been recommended. Before you say yes, ask a lot of questions, but consult your council, your chief, your pal rep, and other people. Contact the social services, contact other people, teachers and principals. Look, someone wants this from me. What is the procedure? What should I do? You need to get some counseling if you want to give your child away. I think that's the most important thing. Someone have to ask that person a lot of questions. Why would you want to do that? Is it true? Go on a Monday, go on a Wednesday, go on a Friday, go on a Sunday. Keep on asking the question. Let them understand what the consequences are. That if you do that, even if you're going to go through the legal way adoption, which is okay, or if you want to go through this other procedure, it's going to have some psychological impact on you. You're going to feel sad at some point that you've lost someone that you have given birth to. So it has some serious implications if it is not the proper way. And the most important one as well that you can't get over is the psychological impact that you have given your child away.
That was Mr. Francis Joseph, a social worker, voicing his concern on illegal adoption in the Carib territory. In other stories, following the official opening of the new Martial Arts Academy on Thursday, February 21st, Sensei and the 4th degree black belt, Mr. Shanna Robin, presumes that the academy is progressing tremendously. Mr. Robin feels as if he has been in his current position for a very long time due to the amount of hard work that was put into his accomplishments. I must add that the location is excellent. It is easy access to most individuals, and they are extremely enthusiastic about the new place, he said. He also says the training as well as the growth has gone from good to great and will only get better.
Well, I didn't choose a location, really. The location chose me, because, when you're on your way to moving up in life, sometimes wherever God plants you, that's where you grow, and there was a lot of different locations that I looked at before, and it is very challenging, one, as a young person to be able to go to the bank and to be able to negotiate, and because I figure you're young, you have no experience, and the red tape. But when I got this location, it took me almost 2.5 years negotiating for here. And honestly, I felt that I had to be here because of the fight that I had to put up to.
Mr. Robin fell more in love with the location when he was told about the history of Federation Drive. He mentioned most people do not know Dominica's history, and parents should spend more time educating their children on that subject.
Because I never knew that Federation Drive was based on a Jamaican and a Caribbean federation, and the Princess Margaret Hospital was a gift given by her sister, and all of those different things. So I felt more empowered knowing that I'm being a part of something historical and something great, and knowing that it's going to move young people forward. So that in itself gave me even more courage and more determination to make the reality, a dream, a reality, if you want to put it like that.
The children, as well as participants, are being trained to overcome their challenges, how to say no to drugs and crime, how to build good character, and how to be able to improve their schoolwork at home, among other disciplinary motives.
Because when I sit back and I look, and sometimes I teach the class, and I see the excitement on the children's face, I am very happy that I made this decision, because I could have done anything, and I chose to build a karate school and to be the first person in Dominica, or first martial artist to build their own karate school that is historical ever, and not just in Dominica, in the Caribbean, and I'm the first student of Professor Don Jacob, out of 50 karate schools around the world to be able to build a karate school from foundation up. So that in itself gives me a certain kind of power.
He noted, it is not all about him. If everyone leaves the country, who will build Dominica and move it to the level of satisfactory? For those who want to participate in the activities held at the Martial Arts Academy, here are the procedures.
Well, once a child is under 18, the parents have to come in, either the mother, the father, or both. They have to come in and they have to fill out a registration form, which is an international form, and they become part of the international organization. Also, there's a registration fee that they can fill out. They have to pay as well. There's the uniform course and the equipment course in terms of the gears. I won't give it on air, but they contact me at 245-8902, 245-8902 or 614-2046. They will get all the necessary information that they really need.
Mr. Robbins says he lives by the experiences of the people with more experience. For example, his professor Don Jacob.
My ability to protect me when I'm alone, because it's a plan from God the Creator.
In other stories, 17 participants of the 6-week journalism course held at the Dominica State College all received their certificates of participation at a small but meaningful ceremony on March 12, 2013. Dr. Donald Peters, president of the Dominica State College, said he is pleased that the college is meeting its obligation of educating adult and traditional learners. He said the challenges of being a journalist in Dominica are to write factual stories which have meaning and the encounter of the digital and technical world. Dr. Peters urged participants to be accurate, informative, and challenge people's thought processes.
So a challenge, my friend, is to use your new skills to enlighten, entertain, because Dominicans need to be entertained, educate your audience, and because if they don't bleed, they won't read. So when I say your role is difficult, I understand and empathize with you. The need for you to acquire the skills you need to both entertain and educate.
Ms. Polly Patullo, a very experienced facilitator in the field of journalism, said when she started in journalism, she wanted to transform the world by writing stories that changed the status quo.
As we discovered in the class, the point of journalism is not to reprint press releases word by word. It is not to publish or broadcast opinion masquerading as fact. It is not to sit behind your computer waiting for stories to drop into your lap, because they don't. It is for you to go out there and knock on doors and discover the stories for yourself, and to tell the stories that other people do not want you to tell.
She gave great advice, urging readers to trust journalists to present balanced, truthful, and accurate account of a story. Ms. Patullo said though the course was far too short, she hopes that participants can disseminate what they learned to colleagues and bosses alike. One of the participants of the course, Mr. Larry LaRocque, said though he is a practicing journalist, the program was very stimulating, beneficial, and contributed to his writing skills.
I would just like to say thank you very much to you, Ms. Patullo, for blessing us with the wealth of information. Although you're an international person, most of the information you gave us related to us in our everyday lives in a regional basis and local also. And it was a good experience to share some of the knowledge from my other media colleagues. As we're media professionals, we're always busy at times, so you do not get the time to socialize or share ideas with other media persons. So I would say it was a good opportunity to relate with other media professionals, to know how they go about doing things. Something I might not have known, I would ask that person, how would you go about doing that? So not just information from you, but from the other participants at the same time.
It is Mr. Larocque's hope that the course will be held for a longer period in future, with the aim that participants attain ranks at regional and international level. Mr. Brian Mead, chairman of the Board of Governors, said in 1968 he worked as a broadcaster and received a salary of only $100 a month. Mr. Mead said in his career as a broadcaster, they followed basic mandatory rules in news reporting.
1. All stories must be factual and not opinionated. 2. All stories must carry both sides of the issue. If you could not find the other side, it was not carried. Or if the other side did not wish to comment, it was so stated. So we never carried a news item unless we had both sides of the story. Because our philosophy was that you as journalists are not to form an opinion. Let the listener decide on which side they want to believe in. All news items must have 3 angles to give a fresh perspective to the item.
Journalists need to keep themselves informed in order to write about the issues and events happening around the world, Mr. Mead stated. He expressed his delight for the introduction of the course and hopes it provides a catalyst for the introduction of a full-time associate's degree course in mass communication and journalism at the Dominica State College. As a participant of the course and a practicing journalist, I must commend Ms. Polly Patullo for a job well done. In more news, Chairman of the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, ECHO, Mr. McCarthy Murray is urging songwriters and musicians to ensure that they are part of the membership of the ECHO so they can reap the benefits from the use of the music. He said television companies and media houses also need to ensure that they are part of ECHO to avoid legal sanctions if they use copyrighted material. Mr. Murray made this statement following the signing of a license agreement with SAT Telecoms Limited on Friday, March 8, 2013.
The law in Dominica and everywhere in the world requires that a person who operates a cable television service have authorization from all the copyright owners for transmitting their copyright works across his system. In the case of the music is owned and controlled in Dominica by our society, ECHO. So whether the music comes from the United States, China, other Caribbean countries or not, whether it's in the programs that come with the transmission, the music is always a separate property and it needs to be licensed separately from the other licenses the cable operator will have from the cable program providers. So therefore anybody who operates a cable system must have a license from us to be able to transmit the music legally. And when I say the music, it includes all music. Music in advertisements, music on music television programs, music in films, etc.
With the signing of this agreement, SAT Telecoms is now legally authorized to transmit on its cable television network musical works in the repertoire controlled by ECHO in Dominica. The repertoire controlled by ECHO includes all the music written by ECHO's own members, as well as music written by any member of the 200 plus similar societies in the world with which ECHO is affiliated. The foreign societies whose repertoire is controlled in Dominica and the OECS include SACEM in France, the Performing Rights Society of the UK, ASCAP and BMI of the US, MCSK of the People's Republic of China, the Caribbean Societies, COSCAP from Barbados, COT from Trinidad and Tobago, and JACAP of Jamaica.
ECHO is what's known as a collective management organization, which means essentially we collect monies for people who write music, who create music. Since they can't do that effectively from themselves, there are more than 200 societies like ours around the world, and we have contracts with all of them so that we have a contract with all the societies in the world that gives us authorization to authorize or not the public performance, including the cable transmission of works of music, whatever sort of duration or length, that are created by their members or by our own members. So now we have given SAT permission to use any and all music over which we have control. It's virtually the entire world repertoire of copyright music.
With the licensed programs created and aired through SAT Telecoms networks are now controlled under ECHO. Managing Director of SAT Telecoms, Mr. Marlon Alexander says, This is something they wanted to do for a long time now, as the company is committed to following rules and regulations.
Today we have signed an agreement with the ECCO, the Intellectual Property Rights organization, because we feel it is only the right thing to do. After you've produced your works, that you should be compensated for it. So SAT is making sure it's in the right direction, that all legal obligations for intellectual property rights are adhered to and respected.
He added this shows the company's stance against illegal activity, copyrights, infringement, and piracy. Mr. Alexander pointed out he had frank discussions with Mr. Murray while they were making the necessary arrangements for this agreement to be signed, which resulted in both parties benefiting. He added all television companies and all organizations involved in the transmission of copyrighted work should make it their duty to protect copyrights. In more news, on Wednesday, March 13th, the CIBC First Caribbean International Bank made a presentation of scholarships to aid affected individuals in the sum of $3,000. Ms. Rona Lawrence, Business Support Officer at First Caribbean International Bank, says the bank is continuing their partnership with the HIV and AIDS Response Unit in providing a scholarship to a needy family and child which has been affected with AIDS.
So this morning I have presented the unit with $3,000 which will go towards that venture.
Good morning, everybody. I am Mary Williams. I am a psychologist, counselor within the National AIDS Response Program, and we are very happy to receive this check from the First Caribbean, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, because over the years they have been assisting us in helping a student who is either infected or affected with HIV so that that person can get access to a good education, and that is what we would like to see continue in Dominica.
The HIV and AIDS Response Unit sent their heartfelt gratitude to businesses such as the First Caribbean International Bank for the reason that a child can now be assisted. In more news, employees of the Public Works Corporation are dissatisfied that 3 fortnights have passed and they are yet to receive any salaries. As a result of this, many of the employees allegedly engaged in a sick-out on Monday, March 11, 2013, in an effort to let their voices be heard. Speaking with one of the employees who chose to remain anonymous, stated, "This is a growing concern and the employees are frustrated by the recurring issue."
What the authorities are saying, that I think management saying, as the people who is in charge, what they want to do is to streamline the workers, and which of course that is what we don't want. To cut down workers, no, that is out of the question. So the thing is, there is work to be done, and then most of the work is being done by outside contractors, and that is our problem here. The works that are there to be done so that we can get pay, it has been given to the outside contractors. For instance, there was a project sometimes ago, and this project, for sure, it came out over the radio. It was $1.something million was allocated for that project, and it was supposed to be a public works project.
He said this injustice being done to the PwC employees, which is under the government, needs to stop, as they are the ones who suffer when the jobs are given to private contractors. The PwC employee says all they have been hearing from management is that they are unable to make payments because of financial constraints, which they have understood. However, it is beyond acceptable this time. Another employee of PwC, Mr. Leroy John, says the PwC and the government is stressing him out, especially as he has bills and a loan to pay but no money to do so.
All over the Caribbean have a public works, and Dominica public works, I see in they privatize the work, and they're doing a lot of mess and privatize killing a country. Anytime you privatize a country, you kill the country. You have the people under stress, you have the people staying hungry, and the loan near in time, they can't pay the loan. Other management come in and having the other workers who can have the workers on stress and whatever. So government have to address that problem and and address that problem and leave things go better. Because if things don't go better, everybody will cry.
Mr. Royston Williams, another employee of PwC, pointed out one of the main problems is government giving many private contractors the jobs that PwC can do, which is a disservice to all PwC employees and the country.
All the same, we are people that are very resilient, and we are hoping that the best would come out of whatever is going on now, and that the people that we would get paid, and that work will continue as usual. We just need the government to understand that we have to survive, we have to eat, we have to drink, we have our families to take care of, and as a result, we believe that what is being done to us seemingly unfair to us, and as a result, we are very frustrated with that. We can't eat concrete after all.
When contacted, the PwC's manager, Mr. Eddie Henry, declined commenting on the issue. General Secretary of the Dominica Public Service Union, Mr. Thomas Letang, who represents the employees of the PwC, says the DPSU has conducted their own investigations to get to the root of this recurring issue. From that, he said it is not because there is no work or because there is no money, but the problem is how the projects are allocated.
Some of the projects, public works, are not considered. They are not given sufficient projects to ensure that all staff continue to be employed at least for a year, while there are other people, private people, who receive or who are allocated projects or selected to undertake projects, and they work throughout the year. Now, when public works do get some projects, they are not paid on time, and therefore that affects their cash flow, and as a result they are not able to pay their workers on time. We have decided as a union that we will be writing to the government to ask for some investigation as to how works, that is road projects, road maintenance work and so on, work related to road maintenance and other things like that, are allocated.
Mr. Letang noted that they have been hearing rumors about layoffs. However, he is of the view that there should not be any layoffs as the PwC, especially as there is a lot of work that can be done by the corporation. He said many projects carried out by private contractors can be subcontracted to the PwC to ensure all benefits.
We know, for example, Public Works was so confident that they were going to be subcontracted that they bought an asphalt plant. But that asphalt plant is just lying there. They spend millions of dollars for that asphalt plant, I think a million or more. Because the contractor doing the road to the airport was given permission to bring his own asphalt plant. And that itself has resulted in Public Works not being able to utilize their plant and to really make money from that. So that is one. In addition to that, I'm saying there are other private contractors who are asked to do certain work, which Public Work could do, but these people are employed throughout the year. What is the reason why Public Work sometimes is being bypassed?
The government is the corporation's largest client, as it was created to undertake public work and falls under the Ministry of Public Works portfolio. The employees last protested in November 2011 over late salary payments. In other stories, a senior official at Clear Harbor has refuted a report that the company intends to make over 200 employees redundant in July 2013. In a statement released on Tuesday, March 12, 2013, it stated Clear Harbor experiences a reduction in its workforce based on lower call volume coming from its U.S. clients during spring annually over the past 7 years. Approximately 25 employees leave the company on a monthly basis as a result of migrations, taking on new jobs, various changes in their personal lives, or in some cases dismissal because of poor performance and/or bad attendance. In addition to this normal seasonal expansion and contraction of the business, Clare Harbour is undertaking a major shift in client base in 2013 to include the reduction on concentration of employees assigned to one client and bringing on several new companies as customers. The company is of the view that this shift will allow the diversification of their labor force to not be as dependent on a single client who could have a huge impact on the number of employees should they take their business in different directions. The statement added that it is because of Clare Harbour's employees' excellent job in serving customers over the last couple of years that the company and Dominica has received great reviews in the American call center business world. This reputation has allowed them to attract 4 new programs and specifically 3 new companies who want to do business in Dominica. And if 3 or 4 of the new programs are successful over the remainder of this year, there will be an increase in employment. In the transition, Clare Harbour will not be closing any facilities in Dominica and are currently working with 8 banks to complete a 4th building, hopefully to house new growth from the success of these pilot programs. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.